Hello, I'm Will. I'm here with Mike with the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
In this video we're bringing you issue 79 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. This issue came with the first part for the Celestant Prime, the remaining parts of which we'll get in the following issue. As usual, we'll have a battle report with this video, so if you'd like to skip straight to that you can do so using the timecode in the description or the chapter bars, but we'll have a look through the issue itself first. This is the background for the Celestant Prime. He was the first mortal ever reforged into a Stormcast Eternal, built by Sigmar to be a match for the greatest champions of Chaos. He didn't actually awaken until Sigmar's hammer, Ghal Maraz, the titular Warhammer, was found again. And once it was given to the Celestant Prime, who now functions as Sigmar's champion, aiding his forces wherever required. And there's the model there with some more detail about the different parts, including the Warhammer itself. Then we have the final page of Bones and Blood, the Book of the Dead that we've had in many parts up to this point. This sort of in-universe look at the forces of the dead. This is actually, as it were, the last page and contains an endnote by Silas Rothervale, the senior librarian of Lethis, who points out that the author in fact went missing and a Deadwalker zombie was later found bearing a striking resemblance to the author, and also notes that this is the only copy left in existence after the rest were destroyed for being too dangerous. So it's quite a nice little conclusion to that what we've been seeing throughout the magazine. And the other side is actually as though it were the back cover of a book, so that's quite neat. Then we learn about Ul-Gish, which is a sort of pocket dimension halfway between, or formed from the magics of the realms of light and shadow. It's said to be the only place where Malarian, the god of shadow, and Tyrion, the god of light, can actually meet. It's also the place where the elven gods imprisoned the chaos gods Slaanesh and siphoned souls out to create new elven races. Most people in the Mortal Realms have no idea that it exists, but it's also where Shadespire is. Nagash cast their city there in punishment for the crimes, or for what he saw as the crimes of its people. It also mentions a little bit about the cosmology of the Mortal Realms and how Ul-Gish fits in with it. And we have more about the Gloomskite Gits and the various kinds of spiders that their Spiderfang tribes worship, including the giant Arachnarok spiders. They believe that the Bad Moon is a gigantic egg sac filled with the children of the spider god. And there's some models there with the various sizes of spiders that you can get in that sub-faction. Then we have the build instructions for the Celestant Prime. We don't get the rest of the parts until the following issue, but in that issue there will be the painting guide, so we've got all the build instructions first. It does have a lot of parts, as you can see here. Starting off with building up the orrery and swirly comet bits that suspend the model in the air. So you just build this up stage by stage with the different parts. And then eventually build the Celestant Prime model itself, which then attaches like so. It does suggest keeping the wing parts separate because it'd be much easier to paint them. And there is the finished model there. Again, we'll be painting that in the following issue. But now we'll be on to our penultimate game of the series. So I'll hand you over to Mike and we'll learn about what we're going to be fighting over.
So we'll have to wait for the next issue to see the War Scroll for the Celestant Prime, so we can get straight into the backstory for today's game, where here the Stormcast have pushed through the outer defences of Rek'zhar and now pushing into the Forge, and obviously the Nighthaunt are trying to hold them back. So with more of the strategic overview, there's not that much going on. There's some Nighthaunt reinforcements in the southwest coming from the seas with their ghost ships. In the northwest, the Nighthaunt are trying to take over the former Stormcast stronghold, and then you can see right there in the bottom the main action at Rek'zhar, the Stormcast trying to push through and finally take control of the Forge. And we have our two forces lists, and they're pretty similar. The Nighthaunt are updated to have the Mortis engine. As you can see, it takes 2 troops choices. And we have our battle plan forged in battle. So you can see the battle map there. We have the 4 battle maps set out with a single objective in the middle, which is representing a keystone, which the Stormcast have to try and take control of so they can proceed further into the Forge. And the Nighthaunt are using this location to try and kill as many Stormcasts as possible. And we both sides of a 12-inch territory along the long edge. It takes place on the Realm of Fire, obviously. We use 4 terrain pieces from the collection. And the Stormcast player begins deploying first. And the game will last for 5 battle rounds, and we score victory points, and whoever controls the objective at the end of their turn gets a victory point at the end of the first or second battlegrounds. In the 3rd and 4th battle round, this goes up to D3 victory points, and then in the 5th battle round it goes up to D6 victory points, and we have 3 hero choices and 5 troop choices each. So that's fairly quick. We can go over the armies we picked and get straight into the game. And also to note, they also give you a special keystone objective for this scenario, but we'll just use the ones I made previously. So here's the Nighthaunt army I picked. I'm sure it looks very familiar to everyone now. I've got a Shroud Guard battalion with the Knight of Shrouds and 2 units of Blade Geist, and my other 2 heroes are the Guardian of Souls and the Spirit Torment, and my other 3 units are a unit of 5 Dreadscythe Harridans, the Spirit Hosts and the Hex Wraiths. One of the previous games I get a Triumph, and I got the one that lets you reroll saves, rolled that off camera. I'll make the Knight of Shrouds my general. Seems fitting, seeing as there was one in the backstory for this game. He's going to have Mastery of the Black Arts as his all trait, and for my 2 artifacts of power, give the Guardian of Souls the Cloak of Mist and Shadows, and the Knight of Shrouds the Black Amulet. And here we have the Stormcast army.
So for my 3 heroes, we've got the Lord Exorcist, Averon Stormsire, because this will probably be the last chance we have to see him in action, and the Knight Azeroth. Unfortunately can't bring Stormsire's Cursebreakers in this game, otherwise I would have done, because I can't bring Evocators, but we've got 2 units of Sequitors, a unit of 4 Castigators, a unit of 5 Judicators, and a unit of 3 Retributors. My general will be the Lord Exorcist. He'll have the command trait that lets me automatically pass Battleshop tests within a certain radius, because everybody's going to be in the middle of the board in this game, and my artifact will be the Relic Sword, which will be given to the Knight Azeroth.
So we have our board set up, and I can just about get everything important in one shot. So a quick view of the terrain. In the bottom left we have a damned Azerite ruin. We have the deadly time-worn ruins in the bottom right. In the top right we have a mystical Fallen Sigmar head, and in the top left is a sinister statue of Sigmar. And we have the objective ring there, bang in the middle. We've both deployed 12 inches on. So with my deployment first, on my left flank I've got the Spirit Hosts, then I have the Shroud Guard battalion in the middle, and then on the right I have the Hex Wraiths and the Dreadscythe Harridans, and the Spirit Torment's just tucked in between the 1 unit Blade Geist and the Spirit Hosts, and the Guardian of Souls is there in between the Hex Wraiths, the Dreadscythe Harridans and the Blade Geists.
And then looking at my deployment, from left to right, we've got a unit of Sequitors with a unit of Castigators behind them. In the middle is the unit of Retributors with the Lord Exorcist and Stormsire behind them, and then the Judicators right at the back, and on the right is the other unit of Sequitors and the Knight Azeroth.
So, rolling off for priority in the first battle round.
I have one. And I'm going to opt to go second.
So we're into Nighthaunt turn 1. So I go up to 2 command points because I start with one from my War Scroll battalion, and then I suppose the Guardian of Souls will try and cast Mystic Shield. Gets it with a 7.
May as well try and stop it with Stormsire. Oh, I did with an 11.
Well, in my movement phase, everyone's just going to move up. I can get all the Harridans and all of those Blade Geists in the middle on the objective, so I will take control of it. Not going to do any charges since we're quite far away, and we're probably going to get hit by a load of spells and explosions, but that'll be my turn, and I'll gain a victory point behind the objective. I'll be on to Stormcast turn 1.
So we'll start with some spell casting. Stormsire will start off with Stormsire, his spell, which is a 7 to cast. He gets a 10.
I will try and unbind that. Going to need an 11 though. Oh, an 11. Phew.
And the Lord Exorcist will try a Fireball, meaning a 5. Gets a 9.
Try and unbind with my other spellcaster. Getting a 10, unbinding.
And we're not going to move up very far, just enough to get all of my bows in range, because moving too far forward I'll probably just get charged in the next turn anyway. And the objective is only worth 1 at this stage, so we'll be on to the shooting phase. Start with the Castigators. We're going to shoot at the unit of Blade Geists in the centre. Getting on 3s or a 2, re-rolling 1s, and the prime hits on a 2. Well, re-roll 1s. To another miss, but a 6, which does D3 hits. 1, so 3 hits total. Wounding on 4s. Was it 3s?
3s.
Wounding on 3s, that's 3.
4+ saves. Made 2. 5+ to ignore. Yes.
And we'll do the Judicators. They're going to shoot the Harridans. Shockbolt bow hits on 3. It does. It does D6 hits. 3. And then everybody else hitting on 3s or 2s. They all hit, so that is 7 hits total. Wounding on 3s. 4.
4+ saves. Oh, only made 1. Ignoring damage on 6s for Harridans. No, 3 dead Harridans. 1, 2, 3. And I think that's going to be it. No charges. That's it for Stormcast turn 1, and that's the end of the battle round. Rolling off for battle round 2. I win the roll off, and I will choose to go first. So we're into Nighthaunt turn 2. Well, I'll start spellcasting with the Knight of Shrouds. He's going to try and cast Fireball. Also up to 3 victory points, but trying to cast Fireball. Fails with a 4. And then the Guide of Souls will try and cast Spectral Roar, needing a 6. Gets it with an 8.
Try and unbind that normally. Yes.
So in my movement phase, everyone's moving up. The Guardian of Souls and Spirit Torment ran, so they can get to the positions they're in currently. Might be some more movement coming. Hexwraiths and the Blade Geists in front, getting as close as they can. Other Blade Geists and Spirit Hosts lagging behind a bit because they're a bit slower. And the 2 Harridans are just going to hang back so that they don't get smushed this turn. No shooting, so we'll be on to the charge phase. I'll start with the Hexwraiths. So the Hexwraiths get a 6, that's going to be enough. I'll do the Blade Geists next to them. 10 is definitely enough. The other unit Blade Geists needing a better roll. Oh, an 11 definitely in. And the Spirit Hosts getting a 4. I will spend a command point to re-roll that because I do want them to get in as well. Getting a 7 might just be enough. And so there we have all the charges. So we've got the Hexwraiths, Unit 5 Blade Geists, which is these 5, and then these 5, and then the Spirit Hosts on the end. At the start of the combat phase, I am going to put Lord of Geists on this unit of Blade Geists on the left, and the Hexwraiths. And then I think the Guardian Souls will use Cloak of Mist and Shadows. Just going to move across. We'll go about there so we can get everyone in aura range.
And both units of Secretors will do Powers of Shields because they're going to be... That way, whichever one gets attacked first will have that.
And I'm going to pick the Hexwraiths to go first. 16 attacks, hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s, and 6s are mortal wounds. So we've got 1, 2, 3 6s so far. So there's 3 mortal wounds and 5 regular hits before the re-rolls. There's another mortal wound and a hit. So it's 4 mortal wounds and then these 6 hits. Wound on 2s. They will wound. -1 rend.
5s to save, re-rolling 1s, 2s and 3s. Power shields. Re-roll. So there's a 4 going through. Oh, only 1 fail though, so 5 damage overall. Well, 5 damage so far.
And then we've got 15 attacks from horses, hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Re-rolling 1s. They all miss as well. So that's 8 hits from the horses. And these wound on 4s. Only getting 2.
2 4+ saves, re-rolling fails. Re-roll fail. It's still a fail. 6 damage total. So we've just lost the 3 shield and mace members. And I will then pick the other unit of Secretors to fight. And they'll pile in like this so that we can get 4 on the unit of Blade Geists, and this one on the end has to hit the Spirit Hosts. Great Maces on 3s, 6s on multiple hits, no 6s. So 2 hits winning on 3s, so nothing. 5 normal Maces on the Blade Geists, so they all hit. 3s, 3 wounds.
4+ saves, made 1. 5+ doing more damage, ignored 1. 1 dead Blade Geist.
And 2 attacks on Spirit Hosts, which both hit. And 1 wound.
4+, failed. Yeah, put it on the one in range. Did ignore damage. So there's a dead Blade Geist. I'll do the Spirit Host next. They're going to pile in around those Secretors, basically to make some more space for the Blade Geist to get in. And they're going to put all their attacks on the Secretors. We've got 18 attacks hitting on 5, 6 to do mortal wounds. No re-rolling 1s because we're slightly too far from the Spirit Torment. Right, is it 2 6s. So 2 regular hits as well. Regular hits wound on 3s, they both wound.
4s to save, re-rolling. Nope, 1 wound, so 3 damage. So he took one of the shield guys away and then took a wound on the other one on the other end. And then I'll pick the other 2 remaining Secretors on that end to go. They don't really need to pile in, so I'm going to go for the Hexwraiths because I can't get the Prime on the Blade Geists. They're not going to pile in because the Prime can't attack the Blade Geist, but I will put the 1 mate on the Blade Geist because they haven't attacked yet. On the Blade Geists, we've got 2 misses, and on the Hexwraiths with the Prime, we've got a miss, but that's a 3 for D3 hits, so 3, so 4 total. And wounding on 3s, it's got 3.
I think I will use my Triumph here just in case. So 3 4+ saves. I've made 2, re-rolling, made them all. I'll pick the Blade Geist that had Lord of Geists on them, so they pile in, get all 4 of them on that unit of 4 Secretors. So we've got 16 attacks hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything because they're within 12 of a Spirit Torment. 4 misses to re-roll, into 2 more hits, that's 16 hits. So it should be 14 hits, wounding on 2s, 12 wounds.
12 5+ saves, re-rolling 1s, 2s and 3s. 2 successes, 2 4s, and then a lot of re-rolls. 7 wounds total. That's what was left in the unit, so they're all dead. I'll pick Stormcast to go. He can get himself within 2 inches of the Blade Geist that haven't attacked yet. 3 attacks hitting on 3s, 2. Wounding on 3s, 2.
4+ saves, fail both.
2d3 damage, 4.
Ignoring on 5s, ignored 2 dead Blade Geists. I'll just take these 2 off the back because they were most inconvenient. Yeah, so I've already got those Blade Geists that have 3 remaining left. I've already got them to fight. One of them is closer to the Lord Exodus, and I don't want to pile in because that'll bring in the Retributors, so I'll just have the other two fight the two remaining Secretors on that side. They have 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, rolling everything. I'll roll those 2 1s, they will hit. Wounding on 2s, 5 wounds.
5+ saves, no rerolls because my shields are all dead. 3 wounds, leaves the Prime on 1. Then I will pick the Lord Exorcist to go. He'll pile in there, makes sure he's within 6 inches of everything for his spell next command phase, but he'll attack the 3 Blade Geists in front of him. He has 4 attacks with his stick, which hit on 3s, 3 of them, and wounds on 3s, 3.
Force to save, made 2.
D3 damage, 3.
Ooh, 5s to ignore. Ignored 1 left. Just leave that one on the end.
And finally the Knight Azeroth will go. I'll pile in as far as possible forwards there. I'll pile in the Knight Azeroth forward as far as he can go. Just remembered we totally forgot his reroll 1's aura this whole time, which would have been quite handy, but it's a bit too late to go and fix that now. But anyway, he'll put all his attacks on the Blade Geists there, the 4. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, they all hit, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds, these are 2 damage because of his Relic Sword.
4+ save, made 1. 2 damage, ignoring on 5s. Nope, 2 dead Blade Geists. Those 2.
And I've just got the Castigators left. They will pile in. 2 of them can attack these Blade Geists, the other 2 have to attack the Spirit Hosts. So, Blade Geists, from hitting on through 4s, we got 2. Wounding on 4s, 1.
4+, yes.
And Spirit Hosts, again 4s, that's 3 hits. And 4s, 1.
4+, nope. Yeah, it's still within 6. That was a 1, so it doesn't ignore any damage. So that's it for combat. The Lone Prime doesn't need to make a Battletop test thanks to their General's command trait. And I can bring some stuff back with the Spirit Torment, so I'm going to bring back 3 of the Blade Geists in the unit that had 1 man left. And at the end of the turn I gain another victory point for holding the objective, and we head into Stormcast turn 2.
In the command phase we'll start with the Knight Azeroth's Lantern. It'll hit everything within 8 inches, which is basically all the Nighthaunt except the Harridans and the Night Shrouds. So D3 mortal wounds on the Hex Wraiths. 3.
Yeah, there's some near within range to ignore on 6s. No.
Blade Geist next to them. 1.
Ignores on a 5. No.
The 2 Blade Geists next to him. 2.
5 to ignore. No.
Spirit Hosts. 2.
1 chance to ignore, so 1 dies, another takes a wound.
Guardian of Souls. 3.
Doesn't ignore any.
And the Spirit Torment. 3.
Doesn't ignore any. Also, the Hex Wraiths might get hot as well because they're next to the Sigmar statue. Not entirely sure if it activates on a 1 or a 6, but I roll a 5, so it doesn't matter. So you can see the aftermath. On to spellcasting.
Start with Stormsire. Stormsire itself goes off on a 7. 8.
Try and unbind, needing a 9. No.
So that's 1 mortal wound to everything within 18, but anything within 6 takes D3 instead.
Yeah.
So Hex Wraiths take D3, 2.
Only got 1 guy in range, doesn't ignore.
Blade Geists take 3.
Ignored 1.
And then 1 mortal wound to everything else.
Guardian of Souls, no. Spirit Torment, yes. Knight of Shrouds, yes. Harridans, no. Spirit Hosts are in range.
That was that done, and then Lord Exorcist can try Purifying Blast. Needing a 5. So it's a 7.
Try and unbind with the Knight of Shrouds. Nope.
Rolling dice, adding half their bravery for everything within 6. Start with the Hex Wraiths. No, they're fine. The Blade Geist is fine. And the Guardian of Souls is fine. Oh, well, whatever. And then I can't do much movement because all of my front line is still engaged in melee because of the survival of that 1 Blade Geist. So everything has just moved. So the Retributors and Judicators have just moved as close as they can. So the Lord Exorcist's stick will go off. So everything within 6 takes a mortal wound on a 4+. Hex Wraiths, they do.
Yep.
They're not in range to ignore. Blade Geist does not. Guardian of Souls does.
Doesn't ignore, he's dead.
And then on to shooting. Proper, and then they've got the Judicators to shoot, and they will shoot at that 1 Blade Geist. Although I think we'll put 2 normal bows on the Harridan as well. Try and get rid of her. So Shockbolt Bow at the Blade Geist misses. The Prime and 1 friend hit but once each, and wound on 3s. 1.
4+. No. 5 to ignore. No. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, a few. And 2 shots at the Harridan. 1 hit. Wounds on 3. It does.
4+. Yes. Lone Blade Geist goes down.
And the Castigators can shoot at the Spirit Hosts. Re-rolling those 1s. So they all hit, but no 6s. And 3s, try and get them in the box. 3 wounds.
3 4 pluses, made 1. Another dead spirit host.
And that brings us to the charge phase, where I will roll a charge for the Lord Exorcist now that he's free. Of 7. He's a fraction out of getting into the Spirit Torment with that, but it is enough to go over to fight the Hex Wraith, and he still gets near the objective, so we'll do that. And then we'll roll a charge with the Retributors, who I did give Blazing Fervour to in the hero phase as well, by the way. For a command point, gives them +1 to the roll. 10. That's probably enough.
Yeah.
That gets them there. And I suppose I'll roll for the Night Azeroth as well. A 4. That's not enough. I do have a command point, so I will re-roll that. In 2 at 3, it's even worse. At the start of the fight phase, I will give power to weapons, so that 1 remaining Sequitor. And then I'll pick the Retributors to go, and they'll just pile in. They're all going to attack the Spirit Torment. 7 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6s do 2 mortal wounds. We've got 1 6, but a lot of misses. That's only... We can reroll that 1 though, because he is within 10 of the Night Azeroth. I'll remember that. 4 mortal wounds. 3 normal hits, which only 1 wounds.
Well, 4 plus for that normal hit, so 6 damage. Got to do a big ignore. No. So Spirit Torment goes down. So I'll pick the Hex Wraith to go next. The Hex Wraiths can just about back up out of range of the Sequitor and Stormsire, leaving them just in range of the Lord Exorcist, who they will attack. So there's 5 attacks there, hitting on 4s, 6 do mortal wounds. I only rolled 4 dice, but we've got 2 mortal wounds so far. And
so it's just 2 mortal wounds?
Yeah, it's just 2 mortal wounds. 4 attacks from horses on 4s, getting 2. 5s to wound, no.
I'll pick the Castigators to go, because they're the only one fighting something that hasn't attacked yet. Getting 3 in range to attack. 4s, 6 attacks, only 2, but re-rolling 1s. 3 hits. And 4s. Oh, 3.
Ooh, mad. 4s. 2 failed, so I think that's enough to kill it. Yeah. Just got the Night Shrouds left, so he'll pile in. 4 attacks hitting on 3s. Yeah, he gets 1. Typical for him. Wounds on a 3, he doesn't wound. And his horse on 4s gets 1. Wounds on a 5, no.
I've just got the Lord Exorcist left, so he will pile in as far this way as he can get. Pretty much. Brings the Night Shrouds within range of his spell next turn, and they attack the Hex Wraiths. 4 attacks on 3s, 3 rolling 1s. Remember that now. Got 3 hits. 3s, 2.
4s, you.
2d3, 5.
There you go. That'll be it, and the Stormcast will take control of the objective and gain a victory point. But I am just going to concede now because I have 2 models left and no way to get any more back. And the Stormcast will somehow, I think they'll get at least 2 more victory points somehow. So we'll call that a Stormcast victory. Recap that game for you now. So that was the game for issue 79 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. How do you think that went?
Well, a lot better than I thought it was going to go after your second turn, because you crashed into my line and killed 9 Sequitors, and then my return attacks did very little. I killed like 3 or 4 Blade Geist or something, and did a couple of wounds to a Hex Wraith. But then, apparently the way to win games as a Stormcast is just bring things that do mortal wound explosions.
Yeah, you learnt from the Mortis engine in the previous game.
Yeah, that was quite the turnaround, really.
Usually in these cases, I expected that you'd eventually get through. I was just going to try and hold you up, although that plan doesn't really work quite so well, considering the objective's worth more victory points later in the game. But also, it's kind of nice that you won that way. It would be pretty lame for me to just hold you up and then you to roll really badly on your random victory point tally and lose.
That's true, yeah, because there is the danger with this game, with that kind of thing. You need 3 victory points to win, for example, in the last battle round. You roll a 1 or 2 on the d6, and then, what's the point of all that, I wasn't really sure exactly what to do at the start of the game anyway, because I knew that just steaming forwards onto the objective would probably not go too well, because you just charged me because you're faster. So I was trying to hold back a bit, but then you managed to win the priority, and you weren't actually as far away as I thought you were. So you just charged me immediately.
Yeah, it might have been being too aggressive. It might be better to just charge with 1 or 2 units and hold them back in this instance.
I considered saying really far back and just shooting you, but I think if I'd done that, I wouldn't have actually had time to get close enough to the objective, and because you can bring morals back as well, I don't think it would have been as effective as it might have, as I might have wanted it to be. If I'd been able to bring ballistas and the Hail Strike battery and stuff, it probably would have been a viable tactic, but with just these ranged units, it's not quite enough. And actually, their shooting was not that effective this game in general.
Yeah, and I was considering bringing the Mortis engine again, and Lady Olinda as well, but I would have... Certainly the Mortis engine, I would have basically been swapping at least 8 models for 1, which is a bit of an issue when you're trying to hold objectives. I would have had a very small army.
Yeah, and it's true that I was able to actually construct an army that had several ways of doing mortal wounds in a large area, and also with plenty of models. Conceivably, I could have had not that many models and quite a lot of damage output, but then I wouldn't have had any models left to go and take the objective at the end. Just these 3 models just happened to be perfect for the job, really. Even if I did forget to re-roll a load of 1s because of the Nighthaunt Ross. But I suppose we could give you the moral victory, because in a normal game you can't actually bring Stormsire without his curse breakers. So, and he did a lot of work.
Yeah, I suppose if you want to go, want to say that.
Yeah, but well, I mean, yeah, his spell is literally just the Knight Incantables, but better. And because I knew that everything would be in the centre of the board in this game, I just thought it would be an effective ability, which it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's also why I considered the Mortal Centre. Now, Linda, again, just everything's going to be in the middle, just mortal wound everything.
Yeah.
Although I imagine if we'd both done that, probably would have been probably been an even quicker game. Everything would have just died as soon as he got in the middle.
Yes, and actually, as we've seen many times, I do have a better chance when the game is focused on a small area as well. When you've got objectives spread across the board, I don't tend to do so well because you tend to outmaneuver me. But then again, we've had plenty of games where you have crashed into my lines, killed all my models, and I haven't been able to recover. So I suppose it makes a change in that respect. But
yeah, I don't think there's all that too much to say about the game. And we got the build guide for this Celestant Prime. Mainly the only fiddly bit is the orrery he's above and getting him to sit on that properly. You need to be a bit careful with that, and remember to keep the wings off when you're painting them. It makes it a lot easier, but otherwise he's not too bad. He's not as bad as the Mortis engine was, and we'll have to wait to see him in the next game, which will also be the finale.
Perhaps, I suppose, not super exciting battle for the penultimate issue. It was ultimately another. Yeah, there's an objective and we need to go and get it, and that's it.
We've largely been playing, but yeah, that is sort of an issue. It's mostly all just been on the same board over and over. I mean, I guess with Conquest we at least had the different looking battle mats that we could swap, but here it's been the same ones, largely in the same thing, always with 4 bits of terrain. Yeah, it's slightly disappointing penultimate episode possibly, but hopefully we'll make up for that. So otherwise there isn't really too much more to say about this game or the issue itself. As I said, the next issue is the finale, so if there's anything you want us to talk about, do let us know in the comments, and we will do a separate video showing off the whole collection as well. Have that separately. So we've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the finale.
Bye for now.